this morning? Everybody, even the young one over here. And we had a wonderful lunch prepared by our very capable chefs in Christian Fellowship. So, as Pastor mentioned, financial fraud against the seniors have been going on a long time. It's gotten worse because they have different tools and they've found creative ways to pretend to be legitimate. And I'm sure the banker I'm going to introduce in a minute, she'll tell you this, but a lot of our seniors are targeted because they're lonely. You have to check on your seniors. When the phone rings, they pick it up because nobody calls. I'm not saying that happens to our senior members of Christian Fellowship on a regular basis, but a lot of them are lonely, and when they can't come to church to fellowship with us, the loneliness gets a little bit, more intense. So when someone calls on the phone, they pick it up, and a good scam artist knows how to involve a person in a long conversation on the phone. Their tactic is to become your friend, and what happens when you think you have a friend, you expose information to them, you say things that you shouldn't be saying to any voice on the phone. And I'm sure Hyacinth is going to underscore this. A voice on the phone is just a voice on the phone. You don't know who it is, regardless of what they say. So, having said that, you probably know some of this. We have seniors here who have been victims of fraud, one of them twice, and the information that the bankers are bringing to you is for you to disseminate in your network. Let your friends know, and your adult children, actually, who might end up being your caretakers. They need to know that also. And this is very valuable information that we're hoping that you would take and use it for your protection and the protection of the people around you. So, without further ado, I will introduce my friend and my banker friend. We have two people with us from the Flushing Savings Bank. That's one of the banks that we do business with. And some members of our congregation already do business with them. But they are a very solid bank, and they always have good rates. So the information that you're getting comes with a lot of knowledge and experience. So Hyacinth Frederick, she is with the Flushing Bank for over 8 years. She serves as a premier banker and officer in charge. She has more than 20 years of experience in the banking industry. She has held a variety of leadership and client-facing roles, including project manager, training specialist, personal banker, and branch manager. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience, and we are excited to hear her perspective today, aren't we? Yes. Thanks, Hyacinth. And she has her assistant with her. I don't want to massacre his name, so we'll call him Kobe. Although it's spelled Kubilay, but why don't we all call him Kobe? Hi, Kobe. All right. And Kobe has been with the bank for over a year as a universal banker. He brings strong technical skills, that's why he's back there with Troy, and his role and is highly proficient with digital and mobile banking solutions. His ability to blend technology with client service makes him a key contributor in helping customers navigate modern banking tools with ease and confidence. He helps me, actually. Thanks, Kobe, for all your help. So I will sit down. Oh, Hyacinth will give you the rules, but she would prefer to facilitate her presentation. If you have questions, write it down. Do you want me to hand out paper so they could write? Oh, Pastor has it. Thank you, Pastor. So you can write your questions down. Unless there's something really pressing that you need her to explain before she move on a topic, she would prefer to keep it a little bit, keep it moving until after the presentation, and she'll answer your questions. And from time to time, she may allow me to speak. Hyacinth, thank you.
I'm not Hyacinth. She has some package that she asked me to hand out. I don't think we have enough for everybody, so I am going to give to the visitors first, and then I will make copies for our members. Is that okay? Elder James has pen and notepad, so you could write your question and take your notes, but I'm going to make sure the visitors get, and then I'll go next door and make copies for the members. Is that okay? Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for, I don't know, I'm not used to be in front of a microphone, but thank you for having us here. And as Ms. Garrett said, financial exploitation of the older population has been on an increase. And there's certain types of scams that, the fraudsters actually use or target specifically to the older generation. So my presentation today, I'm going to talk about some of those scams and what you need to look out for and how do you protect yourself so you don't get caught up in any kind of scams. And, you could lose, a lot of your money because they're looking to get your money. They're looking to get your bank account. They're looking to get your personal information. And that, once they get your personal information, that they can use for identity theft. They can open accounts, they can, credit cards. So you have to be careful. You have to know what to look for and how to defend yourself. So I'm going to, without further ado, I'm going to go through my presentation. If you have questions, let's hold off until the end. But as Mrs. Garrett says, Okay. As Mrs. Garrett said, if you have a burning question, I'll stop and you can ask that question. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, agenda. I'm going to go over statistics and what is elder financial exploitation. Elder abuse. What are the signs of elder abuse and the resources that are available to you that you can protect yourself? And at the end, there'll be a question and answer session. Okay. The statistics. These are from 2023. I'm going to let you know that by age group, 60 and plus, that's the age group that has lost the most money from fraud. In 2023, there was complaints, over 100,000 complaints from seniors 60 or over, and they lost $3.4 billion due to fraud. Billions, okay? $3.4 billion. A lot of the fraud, unfortunately, is not reported because people are ashamed to report that they were scammed. Okay, what is elder financial exploitation? Elder financial exploitation is the illegal or improper use of an elderly adult's funds, property, or resources by another individual. This exploitation can take many forms, including scams, abuse by trusted individuals, such as family members or friends, And it could also include predatory products. Scams and fraudsters direct certain type of products to the elderly. They might want them to do a reverse mortgage or loans that are not appropriate for that particular adult. And also there's certain types of services that are marketed specifically to the elderly. And why are older adults at risk? Actually, this is where I'm going to ask you a question. Why do you think older adults are at risk for fraud and scam? Anyone?
I think because a lot of them live alone, don't have nobody really watching over them and stuff like that.
That's correct. Anyone else?
I said because most of them, a lot of them live alone, and then not have nobody really watching over their finances and different things like that. So it's easy to convince them that you all like them or something.
That's one of the reasons. Anyone else? Someone else had a, yes? Excuse me? Exactly, exactly. And I saw another hand somewhere. Trusting, yes. Okay, anyone else? Okay, so what you said is correct. And also one of the bigger things also is they have a regular income and accumulated assets. After working so long, they have money, okay? And that's what the scammers and fraudsters are after, okay? Trusted and polite, lonely, and socially isolated. They might be vulnerable due to a loss, or vulnerable due to grief from a loss, and they might be reluctant to report any exploitation by a family member or someone that they thought they could trust, okay? Whether it's a caregiver or someone that they depend upon to help them. And they also are targeted because they are dependent on support from a family member or caregiver to remain independent. So why don't older adults report exploitation? Shame and embarrassment. I mentioned that before. Maybe they have a loyalty to a family member or caregiver and they don't want that person to get into trouble, okay? And they might also depend upon that person. So if they report that person, who's going to be there to help them? So it's kind of catch-22. They're in denial, or they're blaming themselves, and they just keep blaming themselves. It's almost like they get caught up with it, and they can't see past it.
Just another one, if you don't mind. I don't see you have it there.
Excuse me?
Are you there with me? Yeah, here I am.
Oh.
Yeah, the technology has become so sophisticated, the scammers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
The scammers have become so sophisticated.
Yes.
That they come across as being so genuine that you think, it's almost like the wise ones are even being scammed.
Correct.
While it's those who have no idea.
Correct.
Because of the sophistry with which they carry out their schemes.
100%, yes. And they are good at what they do because they practice and they practice and they practice and they practice. Okay? Thank you for that. Elder abuse red flags. Okay. And this is where the caregivers and family members really need to stay in touch with the older adults if they live by themselves. Check up on them. Because the red flags, some of them are large bank account withdrawals with no explanation. So one of the things, as you get your monthly statements, I know a lot of us, we get our statements, and guess what? We're going to put them aside, we'll get to them, and by the time we get to them, it's a week later, a month later, and then you're going to discover, hey, there's a large withdrawal on my bank account that I didn't do. Also another red flag, outstanding bills. you start to get bills for items that you never purchased or services you never signed up for. Or new friends who suddenly appear without prior mention. I had one customer who all of a sudden she gets a WhatsApp, text to say, hey, I'm your long-lost friend from school. And she doesn't remember the name, but she says, okay, this is probably, maybe one of my friends I don't remember. She clicks on it and then start asking questions, personal questions. So after she gave some information, she said, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. So she immediately picked up the phone and called the bank and says, I think I might have given out information that I shouldn't have. And those are the things you need to look for. If you do click and give any personal information, delete the text and contact your financial institution, your credit card right away, okay? Another red flag is discovery of signed or forged legal documents. Maybe the older adult is going through their papers, or maybe their children are, and all of a sudden there's a power of attorney. And it's like, okay, power of attorney, I never signed a power of attorney. So that's the kind of things that you need to be aware of. Again, getting back to your bank accounts, any unusual transfers of assets. It could even be transfer of assets like your home. I don't know if you've heard about, scammers taking people's home and they're not even aware of it. It's happening, okay? Debit transaction inconsistent for the older customers, like frequent gift cards. You know that you don't purchase gift cards, or transactions that have descriptions such as winnings, okay? Sudden liquidation of assets, like maybe you see an older adult close the CD and there were penalty on it. Why would the older adult do that? People don't close CDs and pay penalties, okay? That's a red flag. And then the other thing, if you live alone or adult children see that their parents, have rotating caregivers that are doing financial transactions for them, that's a big red flag, as well as increased online or unusual online activity. Telltale language that some of the scammers would use if they pick up the phone and they call you. Or they text you. One is, we suspect an unauthorized transaction on your account. To ensure your account is not compromised, click the link below and confirm your identity. Has anyone ever come across anything like that? And what do you do? What do you do? Yeah. Do you respond to the link? No. Okay, good. You don't even answer your phone. Yeah, that comes through. So a lot of you are defending yourself against, the scammers out there, and you're aware of what some of those scams are. So that's a good thing. Thank you for that. Also, one of the things they might say, they might call you up and say, during our regular verification of accounts, we couldn't verify your information. Click here to update and verify your information. Never click here and don't verify anything, okay? And one of the things you need to remember, if they call you, don't hang on, hang up, okay? All right. Because a lot of us, we might be lonely. We might want to have a conversation with someone on the phone. Don't.
Because a lot of them call, they be like, Kenya, that's the thing, they know your name. So they'll be like, Veronica, and they don't speak. Like, hello, hi, Kenya.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I just said that most of the calls is a lot of scamming going around, because they'll be like, hey, Kenya, how are you? Or they call you by your first name like it's personal. Yeah. So you gotta be really careful about that.
Yeah. Do you know where they're getting your information from? Can someone tell me?
Verizon, T-Mobile.
There are
the phone companies are selling our phone numbers.
Right, but let's get back to what we're doing now online, okay? What are we doing online?
Shopping.
Facebook, anyone, you know? Oh, we had a, reunion, and here are my grandkids, and this is John, and this is David, and he's 7 years old. We have our lives now on Facebook, Instagram. Who uses Facebook?
That's so true, because on Facebook, if you go on Nostrum and look for some shoes, when you go on Facebook, Nostrum is there.
Yeah.
The same shoes
They're
and
tracking
sneakers
you.
and stuff that you
They're
look to,
tracking
yeah.
you. But
It's
a lot of
scary.
us are putting our information out there, you know? If your child, just had a new baby, you're putting that information out there. Yes.
Like, they have to call you sometime. Grandma, you call, hi, son, how you doing? I'm just going along, I know it's something is a scam. Grandma,
Yeah.
you know what happened? I was driving and I bumped in somebody's car and he said, not to call the police and to pay him some money and I don't have any money. I said, oh my goodness, how you so careless? I said, are you so careless? Oh, well, Grandma, I didn't have any, just have any accident. I said, okay. I said, but I have so many of you out there. Which is the grandson calling me now? He just hung up.
No, right. And that's called the grandparents scam.
I died
Okay?
laughing because I know about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I just died laughing.
Good. So you're aware of that. You're on to them. And with AI, artificial intelligence out there now, if you are on Facebook and you have recordings of maybe your kid or your voice, they can get that information from your Facebook post, and they can digitally, they can mimic that voice. So if your grandson or granddaughter is calling you, you're thinking it's your granddaughter or grandson. And in that instance, yes, you hang up and you dial a number that is for a family member, your granddaughter, your grandson. Okay, just hang up. All right, so that is a known scam, and they keep, using it. Thank you for that. Okay. Next slide. So these are some of the examples of financial exploitation. I'm just going to quickly go through them. Exploitation by an agent under a power of attorney. If any of you have a power of attorney on any, your accounts or to manage your financial affairs, make sure that, if it's your bank account, that you're checking your statements on a regular basis. And, that is important. You got to know what's going on. You might not be able to go to the bank and you trust this person, but, trust but verify. That's okay? Another way that older adults are exploited, theft or money or property by family members, caregivers, or in-home helpers. And not that, your trusted, family members, your son or daughter is going to, exploit you financially, but you just have to make sure that you trust, you verify everything that, you ask them to do, okay? Other types of exploitation, investment fraud and scams, and I'll cover a little bit more in detail on that, and lottery and sweepstakes scams. That's popular, I'm sure you've gotten the phone calls or the emails. Anyone? Yeah. So what's happening here is with the lottery and sweepstakes scam, they're saying, okay, you won a prize, but you got to send me some money to pay for the expenses and pay for the fees. I mean, come on, but that happens. And again, if you're by yourself, you're lonely, or maybe you need money, that's something that you might think, hey, it sounds okay.
You won a car. Oh, you're so lucky. I said, uh-huh. Said, oh, you won a car. I said, what kind of car, honey? And he said, oh, he told me what the car was. Okay, you got to send me $500 so I could bring the car. I said, but if I win a car, and I can send you $500.
Yeah.
I don't see the rational in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, but you got to pay some people, right? I said, send my car to my door, and I will pay you the money. You bring the car to my door, and when the car comes, then I'll pay you.
I think we need to have you change your phone number, because there's too many of them are calling you, you know? Yeah. Okay, other examples of financial exploitation: telephone, computer, and internet scams. We all walk with our phones. Sometimes we walk with our phones like it's another body part in our hands all the time, okay? And we're always checking who texts me. And some of us, we get a text and it's like, oh, the person is texting me or calling me, or let me call them back and tell them they have the wrong number. Why would you do that? Okay, but some of us would do that, okay? Huh? Yes. So again, very, very, it keeps proliferating: your telephone, the computer, the internet. I spoke a little bit about reverse mortgage fraud, and just to touch on that a bit, a lot of older adults, they own their homes outright, or they have so much equity in their home that there is a thing called reverse mortgage, where you can take out a loan and get funds from your built-up equity. But it's a complicated loan, and it's not sold or offered by anyone. By everyone in every bank. So you got to make sure that if someone is offering you a reverse mortgage and they're telling you it's easy to do, just, give me your information, I'll tell you whether you approve or not, just hang up the phone, or don't respond to an email if you get an email, and don't respond to texts. Because there is more, if you want a reverse mortgage, you go to a bank and they'll tell you if they do it or not, or what banks do reverse mortgages, okay? But that's a big scam that's going on against the elderly population because you have so much equity built up in your home, okay? And contractor fraud and home improvement scams. And as you said, next slide, grandparent and imposter scams, okay? You have your romance and charity scams. Romance scams, again, loneliness, right? And with those romance scams, and they're called relationship scams. Those are what they call long scams. Okay, he's on the next slide already. But I want to just talk a bit about romance scams. They are what they call long cons. You know what a long con is? Years, right? They take years. It's not going to happen in 6 months. It's not going to happen in 3 months. They're going to build up that relationship with you. And after that relationship is built up, that's when they drop, start, oh, you know what, I'm in a hardship, can you send me $100? Or can you send me, oh, I'm going to be kicked out of my apartment, send me money. And I can tell you, we had customers at the bank who wired funds out, and we know the signs. When they come in, we know the signs. And we say, this doesn't feel good, this doesn't sound right. You shouldn't do it. Well, that's my friend, and I'm helping them out. Well, how long have you known your friend? It's none of your business. Okay? None of your business. So we said, okay. And the first time the person sent it out, no problem. Comes back again, sends out even more. It's after the second wire transfer was sent out, they came back to us the next day and asked us to recall it. We tried, but the money, the other bank that the money was sent to, didn't have the money there. And we said to him, we told you, but this is what happens, okay? So just be careful with those relationship scams and know that it doesn't happen immediately. It can take years, okay? All right. So, and anyone can be a victim of exploitation. Doesn't have to be older adults, it could be of any age group, okay? And with dating apps, talking about different age groups, with dating apps that are out there, you have people who pry on, just maybe, 40 to 50, 60 plus. And what they do is they go to social media and they get the profile of somebody else, a handsome guy or whatever it is, and they make that their profile. So that is what you're seeing when they send you, exactly, catfishing. Excuse me? Say that again? Correct. Ooh. Yeah. So again, the bottom line is, if they start asking for money, just delete the profile and just, make sure that you block them, okay? Next slide. So who are the scammers? We mentioned a few already, family members and caregivers. You don't want to believe it, but it does happen, okay? Friends, neighbors, or acquaintances, agents under a power of attorney. Again, getting back to power of attorney, know who you're giving power of attorney to, okay? Because that means that that person can act on your behalf and depend upon whether you just give them a limited power of attorney or full power of attorney. Full power of attorneys, what that means is that they can bank in transactions, they can take a mortgage out on your home, they can, sell your investments if you have it because you're giving them full power of attorney. And if you add a gift writer to that power of attorney, they can gift your money on your behalf to whomever. Okay, so that, you gotta have it. You gotta have a power of attorney, because if you are, get sick, or you can't make it, to pay your bills, or do any banking transactions, or even just maybe interact with Social Security, you need to have someone that can do that on your behalf, and everyone should have it, but you gotta monitor what they're doing, okay? Financial advisors. Financial advisors, you gotta, know that that person can be trusted, that that person is licensed, and there's ways to check whether a person is licensed to sell investments and whether or not they have any kind of complaints against that license, okay? Strangers. So again, you have your telephone and mail scammers, as we talked about. You have your internet scammers, you got your home repair contractors, and Medicare scam operators. The Medicare scam operators are the ones who tell you, I know how you can reduce your monthly, health insurance. Okay, so that's also something you need to be wary of. And we talked about the romance scammers, and listen, if there's a new scam to be developed, I'm sure they're working on it now, especially with artificial intelligence out there, okay? Computer and internet scams. Everyone is aware of phishing, what phishing is, right? No? So phishing is when you get an authentic looking email from a company that you do business with or a text message. For instance, there are ways to detect a fake email. And for instance, there's an example on the screen that says, using Verizon. Can someone tell me what's wrong with Verizon's name as you see on the screen? Exactly. But sometimes we read so quickly, guess what? We don't notice it. Right, the brain corrects it as it reads it, okay? So those are the things you're looking for. You're also looking for any words that are misspelled, okay? That's a biggie. And then when you also, if you hover over the link, when you hover over a link, it will actually show you the true email address. And if you think it's Verizon, when you hover over that link, it doesn't say Verizon, okay? So you gotta be careful. These are ways that you can detect a fake email. Examine the sender's display name, look for any misspelled words, hover over any links and attachments. And regarding attachments, don't open attachments from people or companies that you don't know and you don't do business with, okay? If you want to contact that company or that individual, you have to take the information from any statements that you have or any bills that have their phone number on it. And for individuals or friends and family, contact them directly over by the phone, okay? So the next thing is email spoofing. That's where your email is disguised, and I just spoke about it, disguised to look like that of someone you know, okay? But if you hover over that email address, you're going to see, hey, this email address is not it's not legit for my friend or my family member.
Or I would even say, because I had an incident where I got a message saying that someone was buying a new iPhone, and they wanted me to confirm that I was making the purchase. What I did was I went and I Googled for myself the phone number for the Amazon location that they was talking about, and I called them personally. I completely ignored the email, got the direct phone number, and called it myself. And they didn't know anything about what they were saying in the email. So it's best if you get an email, even from your bank, don't click it, don't call the number on the email, call your bank directly is what I would recommend.
Yeah. And your bank, if you have a debit card or a credit card with the bank, the number it's right on the back of your card. That's the number you're going to call. Okay? But you were saying what's hovering is when your mouse, you have a mouse, and if you just move your mouse and have the pointer, hover means to sit on top of the email address. It's going to show you the full email address, okay? Just hover over that. That's what I mean, hover with a mouse, okay? Yes, don't click it. Thank you. All right, let's move on. How much time do we have? Okay, thank you. All right. So, again, as you said, what's your name? Roxanne said, don't open any message from an unfamiliar sender. And if you open a suspicious message, delete it immediately, okay? Delete email and text messages that ask you to confirm or provide personal information. Don't click it. Don't provide any information. If you're concerned about an account, call the telephone number on your bank statement, credit card statement, or the number that's on the back of your credit card or debit card, okay? Avoid telephone and internet scams. We talked a little bit about that. Next page. Scammers. Here's an IRS telephone scam, okay? Calling from the IRS. You know we owe money, right? Say money's owed for taxes. Do you think the IRS will ever call you? No. Okay. 100%. They won't call you, okay? They may also use spoof, and that's what I talked about. They'll spoof the name. If they send you an email, they'll have the name of the IRS in the caller ID, if it's call-in or if it's a text. So it says IRS, but it's not, okay? So don't be, quick to provide any information. Because the IRS will never call you, the IRS will never send you a text, the IRS will never send you an email, okay? Use common names, scammers use common names and fake IRS badge numbers. And they may know the last 4 digits of a victim's social security number. Believe it or not, a lot of our information is all out there, and all out there on the dark web. And some of that information stays out there for a long time. So sometimes when companies have breaches and they contact you and say your information may have been compromised, okay? So that information is out there, and yes, you can put your fraud alerts on your credit report, but your information is out there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The other day I went to the doctor,
Uh-huh.
and I had to fill some forms out. And they asked, when I'm reading the form, filling it out, they asked for my social security number. Don't put on your social security number in a doctor's office. They don't need it. Your social security number is your identity. If you're going to fill out regular forms, you don't need to put it there because they don't need your Social Security number to bill you, so they don't need it.
Thank you.
I actually work in the healthcare field, and giving your Social Security number is actually a HIPAA. Just so you know. Oh, it's against the law. So you're not supposed to give your Social Security number. If you noticed, a couple years back, Medicare changed that law, and they updated to actually giving you a Medicare number. Medicare no longer uses your Social Security number as your ID number. It used to be the A and your Social Security number. That used to be the identification number for Medicare. Because of people in healthcare are taking people's identity.
And selling it, yeah.
And it's hard for them to stop it. So to avoid that, because remember, someone in the doctor's office or the hospital, they know the mother's maiden name, father's maiden name, your child's information. They even know your religion. So people are using the information and they're taking out light bills and doing all kinds of stuff with it. So to avoid it, they stopped taking Social Security numbers in the healthcare field. So she's absolutely right. It's a HIPAA. You don't have to give it. And if anyone asks you for it, tell them no.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. IRS telephone scams continued. Bogus emails, mimic a call site. These are all the scammers, ways scammers try to get you to respond. They threaten jail time, so if you don't give me the information, you're going to jail. They hang up and call back pretending to be from local police or Department of Motor Vehicles. So they try, this is their day job, their night job. They're always working to see how they can get your information. And the whole idea with the information is, again, identity theft, so they can open accounts or to get into your bank account to get your money, okay? IRS will always send a written notification by U.S. mail. They never ask for payment or credit card information over the phone. The IRS never requests personal or financial information by email, okay? Tips for avoiding telephone scams. We've gone over some of these already. You cannot usually win a contest unless you enter, okay? Some people say you've won a contest and you say, hey, I never entered this. What do you mean I won, okay? But it happens. And you never pay to play. If you are going to enter a lottery, you enter a lottery. You don't have to pay a fee to play, okay? Sweepstakes, you don't need a fee, all right? Pay attention to warnings from your financial institution. I mentioned that with the romance scam, okay? Because we can see it. We know, we send out fraud alerts because you develop a transaction history with banks. They know, the amount of checks the range of the amount of checks that you write. They know where you go and use your debit card and what transactions are normal for you. They know that if you've never really had a transaction from Missouri or Texas, that's unusual for you, okay? And they might say, okay, we try to call, and if we don't get you, we'll leave a message to call you, for you to call us back. And most of us say, I'm not calling that number, let me call my bank directly. And that's good. But some of them never call us, so we block their card until they come in. And then, once we know whether that transaction is valid or not, we'll unblock the card. But again, you have to be vigilant. We can't, always find a transaction that we think is fraudulent. You got to make sure you manage your financial transactions, and there are ways to do it. You don't have to wait until you get your statement. You can, if you are comfortable online, you can go online and check your history, see what's happening with your account. You can always call the bank, okay? So it's important for you to do that. And pay attention. If we call, it's important. If a caller claims an emergency, check it out at a number you know to be valid. like the grandparent scam, you know? So you know that calls for emergency, hey, wait a minute. If that's my friend, if that's my daughter, let me call a number that I know I can reach her at, or let me call a friend that I know will know where she is or he, okay, that's important. And be wary of requests for secrecy. So like in the grandparent scam, they'll say, don't call anyone, don't tell anyone. You know, the grandchild will say, please, please, don't tell mom, don't tell dad, don't tell anyone. If they're asking you to keep a secret, you know that's a red flag. Okay? Yes.
Now, we're talking about the sophistication of these scammers. Sometimes they go as far as blocking your computer where you don't even have access to your computer. How do you get around that?
Well, what you can do is you can, they have like, what is it? Tech support. I know there's some called the Micro Center. They're actually, Best Buy has tech support. Yeah, there are companies out there, electronic stores or shops out there that you can take your computer to, and there's still a thing, it's Geek Squad, is that correct? Excuse me? Staples. So that's where you can go and get help, okay? But don't follow their instructions to, you know, send them money or things like that. But Best Buy, Staples, the Geek Squad, I think, is that with Best Buy, the Geek Squad? Yeah, okay, all right. Anybody else know where, you know, you can get, Kobe, do you know where somebody can go and get help? Mm-hmm. Okay, that was a good question. Okay, we talked about, next slide. Okay, I won't go over this because we talked about this for a few minutes. Yeah, plead to victim to wire money and ask not to tell family members, okay? That's with the grandparent scam. Online romance scam, just quickly again, they contact you through social media, dating apps, websites, text messages, or email. They use false personas that seem just real enough to be true. May steal other people's photos, like I was talking to you. They take other people's profile that's out there and they make it theirs. Okay? And a lot of times they also, if you're on Facebook and maybe you're part of a Facebook group, they know what your likes are, maybe what your hobbies are, and so they come across as a kindred spirit that, hey, you know, this person likes what I like, this person is interested in what I'm interested in, and that's how they actually get you to trust them and release information, okay?
But with as you mentioned, the emergence of artificial intelligence, this is becoming so, well, I have to say sophisticated, that it's almost impossible. You're talking about, I mean, copying your voice. You just mentioned the photos, but they can actually take the videos and make it appear like it's you. Like in the case of Sister Herbert, yeah, where she spoke about this grandparent scams. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many stories about these that are so rampant. So it's almost becoming difficult to protect oneself against this because AI is getting up even more.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. You can sense when something is not right. Yeah. So it's, you know, too good to be true. You know, it's like with the romance scam. Why are they contacting me? How did they know about me? You know? So yes, it's becoming sophisticated, but you know, you just still need to have, there's like, what's the word? High alert, right. You just kind of sense when when something just doesn't seem right. Yeah, okay. lottery and sweepstakes scammers may call, email, or text regarding lotteries, drawings, or sweepstakes. You never entered any one of these. They request upfront processing fees or taxes. Send authentic-looking claim checks. I know I've had several of my, family members who sent money because they, got a check, and then on the check it says, in order to claim your winnings, more winnings, you got to send me money. And some of them have bought checks to the bank to be deposited in their bank account, and they're just bogus, and they can't spot it. Okay? It's out there. It's happening. Okay? And some of the scammers pose as the attorney for the winners. So if it sounds too good to be true, it is. Did someone say something? No? Okay.
People who want something for nothing because they know they didn't put out anything.
Yeah.
Then why are they looking forward to collect something?
Yeah. And some people are, they need money.
Yes, but if you didn't buy something, how do you want to get it?
Agreed. But it happens, unfortunately. Yeah. And that's why we have these conversations here. Okay? You got to just stay aware, and stay on top of the latest scams that are out there. I mean, it's always in the news. So you just can't bury yourself and say, okay, that's not going to happen to me. I've heard horror stories over the last couple of months of people who have taken money out of their retirement accounts so they can purchase crypto. Okay?
Let's not even go
Huh?
there. Crypto? Oh my gosh, we have so much information to give on crypto.
Yeah.
People shouldn't involve in crypto.
Yeah. So, and it's like the adults who, they believe it. They believe that they can make more money, by purchasing crypto, and would liquidate their retirement fund that they've spent years or decades, accumulating. And I don't know, you've heard those stories, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hyacinth, you're probably going to touch on this. Sometimes we get scammed by the people we know.
Mm-hmm.
The affinity scams.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, that's, the scams are called, relationship scams, but affinity scams are the ones that target certain groups, identifiable groups. It could be churches, it could be military, people who are from the military, it could be clubs, but what makes this so, I guess, thank you for that. I was looking for another word. The fraudsters involved in these scams often are or pretend to be members of the group, okay? They may enlist respected leaders from the group to spread the word about the scheme. And a lot of these schemes are what you call Ponzi schemes or pyramid schemes, okay? And so, and many times those leaders are unwitting. That means they don't even know what's going on sometimes. And they're unwitting victims of the fraud they help to promote, okay? These scams often involve, like I said, Ponzi or pyramid schemes where new investors' money is used to pay earlier investors, okay? So I think, oh my God, this sounds great. I'm hearing it from one of my, club members, from one of my, sisters in the church, and it sounds really great. And so I become a new investor. Well, my money is gonna pay the other, existing investors. And those existing investors are the ones who came to me and say, hey, look how much money I'm making. I'm making 12%. Look at my statement. So you trust that person, you know, it's part of your community, and you now become one of them, okay? And, you know, by that existing investor showing you the statement, it's like, this is successful, this is legitimate, I want to be a part of it, okay? These scams exploit the trust and friendship that exist in that group, right? Because of the tight-knit structure of, you know, these groups, outsiders may not know about the investment scams. So I might not know about it, I'm an outsider, but everybody inside knows about it. And victims may try to work things out within the group, right? They don't want to tell anybody outside, because if you tell me and I'm on the outside, I'm going to say you were scammed. So they try to fix it within the group, because that is the group that I trusted. I have friendships in that group. And that's what's called affinity scam, or targeting groups that, such as churches, religious organization, but it doesn't have to be. You know, it could just be a group that you're a member. It's a close bond that makes it, you know, as you said.
Cultural groups also.
Yes.
And the group members try to protect the perpetrator once the thing comes out.
Correct.
Because it goes with, Brother Pompey just said, if you didn't buy something, why are you expecting returns? Mm-hmm. And so people, even if, you know, the entire marketplace is paying 3%, and somebody promised them 12%, or, I don't know, to double your money in 3 months, I mean, it's the greed factor that have you going into this.
Yeah. But also, if the person or the trusted friend or the group member, if they're showing you their statements, and their statements are showing, you know, I've made this amount of money over the last 6 months, they're showing you proof, so why not take a chance?
Well, no, because it's your money, and if you take a chance and you're wrong, you're going to lose your money.
Right, exactly.
And so this is the thing. We had someone who was scammed by someone she was very close with, and told her to invest in their business, and they'll double the money in 3 months or 6 months or whatever. And they came to her 4 times, and she gave them over $30-something thousand. But this is somebody she knew from church, and also to just friendships. And it turned out that it was that greed factor, because no one is going to double their money in 3 months. And just because it's a friend of yours, it doesn't mean that they're not greedy or they're not scamish.
Correct.
So you can't, you mentioned up front, trust but verify.
Right.
So you could listen if you want, but you need to get the information, real good information, before you jump in with both feet with your money.
Exactly. So even if you know the person making the investment offer, be sure to research the person's background as well as the investment itself. No matter how much you trust the person who brings the investment to you, you still need to do your homework. And if you say, I know nothing about these types of investments, you know, let me just even back up. If you don't know about the investment, don't get involved. If you can't understand it, don't get involved. If you want to get involved, ask someone who has that knowledge about the investment. And ask, you know, I was approached to invest in this. Tell me about it. Is this a scam, or is this for real? Okay? You can't take it at face value, all right? Even from your trusted, you know, friends and family. Okay? And there are tools out there that you can actually go online and learn about investments. You could even go to a government website. If you want to know if a financial advisor is licensed, you just have to go to the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission website, and look up that person. You can see whether they're licensed or whether they have complaints out there, okay? Any questions about that or any more comments? Yes.
As a former investment advisor, you also have a National Association of Security Dealers.
Thank you very much,
Where
sir.
you can go to their website and they will tell you if your license still valid and whether you have any violation or any sue or payment that you violated in the Federal Securities Exchange Commission.
Okay, yes, you're right. Thank you. Mhm. The National Security, okay, investors. NASD, I think it is. Yeah. NACS? Yeah. Okay? All right. So never make an investment based solely on recommendation. Do not fall for investments that promise spectacular profits or guaranteed returns, and or investment that says there are no risk involved. I don't know any no risk involved investments. Even CDs are no risk. Okay, there's risk involved. There's the risk of, if rates go up, you're locked into a low rate CD. That's the risk in everything. Okay, fraudsters often avoid putting anything in writing when it comes to these investments. So they do not have time to put it in writing, the particulars about the investment. You should be suspicious about that. And don't be pressured to rush into buying any investments before you had a chance to research the company. And fraudsters may try to tap into your desire to get on the ground floor of the latest technology, product, or growth industry, like AI, crypto, So those are the latest, you got to get in on the ground floor, you're going to make a lot of money, okay? If you don't understand it, don't get involved, okay? Any other comments or questions about that? Okay.
I like the fact that you said, over here, yeah, I like the fact that you said if you do not understand it, don't get involved. Because one of the things, and I think you alluded to this earlier, that sometimes reputable persons, you might see their names. I remember once I saw the name of my former prime minister, who they say was part, and they use these affiliations, those associations. He was part of that particular thing, and that, so even within, you talk about the crypto, the cryptocurrency thing. Mm-hmm. Right now we understand that our president is doing very well at crypto. He's doing exceedingly well at crypto.
Yeah.
Should that entice us to go into it too?
No, that should make you run.
100%.
Also, just a question: what is cryptocurrency?
Mm-hmm.
Unregulated.
And then there was silence in heaven.
It's not tangible.
Yeah.
Nothing is tangible, okay?
It's all computer flim-flam. You don't, she said, Science said there's nothing tangible. There's no paperwork, there's nothing, it's just computer.
And it's not regulated either.
Because it's air.
Unregulated.
It's nothing, it's air.
You have a comment?
Like I said, it's non-regulated, so they can't trace it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know that, but a lot of people who want, like you said, they want something for nothing, they see, yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Who get hurt by these scams are people who are looking for something for nothing.
There's someone over here as well when you're done. Uh-huh.
Yes, as I was saying,
Mm-hmm.
the people who get hurt by these scams are people who are looking for something for nothing.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
My question is, why is the government allowing things to happen? For example, that reverse mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Now you listen on TV,
And the guy who hacked as Magnum
PI.
PI, he is talking about reverse mortgage. I tell you how beautiful it is.
I mean, it works for certain people, but you just have to find legitimate banks or loan companies that know about those products. What I was talking about is scammers calling you up and you can't verify them. You know, a reverse mortgage might work for someone who needs monthly income and they have all of this equity in their home, but it's a very, very complex product. It's not something that all banks sell. The number of banks or loan companies are very small when it comes to reverse mortgages, okay? So, yeah, Magna, I said Tom Selleck, yeah. I mean, you can call that company, but you can also, research that company to see if they're legitimate, okay?
Also, before you even do that, you need to educate yourself on what a reverse mortgage is. And the process is very long. It includes counseling also. You have to get counseling when you engage in a reverse mortgage product. And so it's not something that is done in 1 day or 5 minutes or whatever. So the recommendation is go get the information on reverse mortgages, and then you'll see how complicated it is, and you'll know that you can't do it over the phone with anybody.
Yeah.
And it's a good product for some people, for some seniors.
Exactly.
Because people have, had reverse mortgages using the equity in their homes because they needed to have extra income when they're on a fixed income in their senior years. But it's not for everyone. It's very expensive, and it's not for the faint of heart, and you have to pay attention.
Reverse mortgage. You have a house with equity on. It's not easier to sell it and bank your money instead of giving it to the bank or to whoever wants to sell you that mortgage.
I know.
Because you still have to maintain that property to a standard from the same little money that they give you every month. Otherwise, you forfeit your house.
Yeah.
So if you can't handle your house no more, it's better for you to just sell it, put your money in the bank, and you have it to use whenever.
That doesn't, work for everyone. So like I said, as Ms. Garrett said, everyone's situation is different. And so that might work for you or work for me, but, everyone's is just in a different financial space. Well, what ends up happening, you'll get the equity, you take a loan against the equity, and we don't sell it at Flushing Bank, I just know top line. What happens is you'll get whatever lump sum payment, monthly payments, and the bank gets paid when you sell the property or when you pass away. Yeah, okay, but again, it's not something, as Ms. Garrett said, for the faint of heart, and it's complicated.
Very complicated. Yeah. I have had to do a few on behalf of clients. And some people, it benefited them because they didn't take a lump sum. The rule of thumb is to take monthly payments as you need it, so you don't amass a whole lot of cash, put it in the bank, and then other people target the money in the bank to take it also. So there are some disciplinary actions people should take with a reverse mortgage. And it does work for some people, because if you are a senior on a very low fixed income because your Social Security is not that attractive, but you have $700,000 in equity in a home that you already paid for, this is a place you can tap some of the equity so you can live comfortably. And when you pass away, the beneficiary inherits the property and the reverse mortgage. So at that point, the beneficiary and the bank will make a deal as to whether or not the beneficiary wants to pay off the reverse mortgage and keep the property, or sell the property, pay the bank, and keep the rest of the money. But it does help some seniors who actually have cash flow problems and they have a lot of equity in the house.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. All right, any other questions? Mm-hmm.
Is it in my best interest if I pay my property tax rather than the financial institution paid tax? Because if I'm paying a tax for $6,000 a year, and they're paying it one time, I'm paying it monthly or 4 times. If I were to save that $6,000, I put it in a CD. Wouldn't I make more money than if I were to let them pay it?
First of all, you need to find out from the bank if they would even allow you to do that, because that's a conversation. And like I said, I don't do mortgages. We don't do mortgages. We do mortgages, but business mortgages and loans at Flushing. And I don't know, Scary. Yeah, if you can take that.
That's my specialty, actually, mortgages. And it depends on the interest rate you're gonna get on that $6,000.
Denise, Mrs. Garrett is gonna.
It depends, because if you're gonna invest it, it's gotta be a high interest rate so you would make some money on it in that year, because you have to pay your taxes yearly. So it depends on what the investment is. And another thing, you do not want to put property tax money in a risky investment. So you're at the mercy of what's out here in the marketplace in a CD or some high yield savings account. So you have to do the math and figure out how much you're going to make on that property tax money in 1 year, and if it's worth your while to do it. But the bank will allow you, in some circumstances, to pay the taxes yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It depends on the size of your mortgage and the value of the house. If your mortgage is relatively small compared to the value of the house, they might let you do it, and it depends on the bank.
Yeah.
But property taxes help the bank to make sure that you don't default on your property taxes and put the house in jeopardy.
Most banks would collect their tax.
Of course, that's why we do it once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your mortgage.
Yeah.
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 Therefore, at the end of the year, the bank already have your
Well, that's the point of escrow.
Right, right.
To hold on to the money, and when the bill is due, the government send the bill to the bank. It's easier for you also, you don't have to worry about it.
taxes at the end of the year, whatever quarter you want, then you are not, that is not taking.
Yeah, but the bank is not making money on the property taxes. The property taxes go in escrow in your name, and if they make interest on it, it goes to you. Yes, the bank does not make money on escrow money because escrow money belongs to you.
Correct. And sometimes you get, at the end of the year, they'll tell you, you have extra, they'll send you the interest extra. But yeah, exactly. But banks don't want you to get into a position where they go into foreclosure, because banks don't want to be in the business of owning a home and having to sell it. They don't want that. They want to make sure that you're making your payments. They don't want that to go into foreclosure. I know when I was at Citibank, a lot of customers would say, well, could you send me a foreclosure list, of bank properties? Bank don't want to be owners of properties, okay?
Your interest that the bank will pay your
100%. Yes, yeah. Something that you don't have to think about. It's on automatic, okay? Yes. Now, if it's a mortgage question, it might have to be okay.
Definitely not a mortgage question.
Okay.
It's a two-part question. So the first part is, normally when you go to the bank or the drive-through, you will see that there's different options now. And I'm not sure, there's skimmers and there's scam now that they put over where you insert your card or you may tap. What's preferred in terms of when you go into the drive-thru? Should you tap, or should you, when you go inside of the banks, because there's always scams where people are giving your information.
Yeah, our branches don't have, of the ones that I've worked in, they don't have drive-throughs. But with the drive-throughs, if they're not inside the window, they're outside right? So one of the things is that if it's not like on camera or when the bank's closed, someone can come and put like a cover over it that can skim it. So I always say preferred, go into the bank where you have to dip your card, and before you dip your card, pull on the receptacle that gets the card, that you put the card in, to make sure nothing overlay has been placed on that slot, okay? But if it's a drive-through and it's not manned all the time, I would say, excuse me?
Or you just tap.
Yes,
okay.
yeah, please, definitely.
And then the second question, I'm not sure if Kobe, your specialist here, can help too with this. Whenever you are on the internet, there's always those web browse cookies that store your information. Now, like you mentioned before, there's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and then what you see, so for example, if we're shopping for a home, and you search a website, and in the stores, and then you start seeing the Facebook ads of new homes or Instagram.
Or furniture, looking for a new
right.
sofa, yeah.
And then, you get an email with so forth with information about, oh, hey, just wanted to let everyone, these are scams too. How can you prevent that from happening? Do you have to keep going in and clearing your cookies? Sometimes when the website pops up, it says, do you want just the necessary cookies or stuff like that? So I'm just curious because, that happened 10 years ago. My husband and I, we were looking for a home. And then after a while, we started getting a lot of ads. Of course, we were grateful for the ads because the ads were giving us information about realtors and bankers, brokers. And then we got an email.
Yeah.
And this email said, hey, we see you're looking for a home. We don't know who this person is. And of course, the email address is coming from someone like realestate_broker.com. And they're sharing their information, and they say, hey, we know a home, and we know the address you're looking for. They knew so much about what we were looking for and the preferences.
Yeah.
They say, hey, look, Brooklyn Avenue. There's a home over there, and we have the ins on that home. And we knew something was a little off, but once again, emailed them back. And similar to what Sister Herbert said, they emailed us back and said, hey, guess what? We'll do you an even better one. We'll send you the key for the home so you can go in and look at it. But here's what you got to do. Send us $200 and we will give you the key. So of course, my husband and I was like, something's off. We drove by the house. And when you drive by the house, you see it's barred up, the gates. So clearly it was not a home for sale. It was definitely a scam. And when we digged even deeper, we realized that the email account was somewhere in the continent of Africa. So these are the things that are happening. Why I say, you have to clear your cookies, because if you don't, when you're browsing the web, whether you're shopping for shoes or anything financial, people are using this information to target you and give you ads about things, and you'll notice you keep seeing the same thing coming up. So I'm just wondering, how can you protect yourself from things like that in the future?
Well, I was going to say VPN, but maybe Kobe can, were you going to say that too?
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to recommend.
I was gonna actually say what you're saying. It's not the cookies, it's an algorithm. They're using an algorithm to track you, where you go, what you're doing, and there's no way to really avoid it. Also, it's not even if you just go to a website, if you say something. So a lot of us have these Series,
Alexa,
and all the Alexa clocks and stuff in your home. It listens. They're in your home. So you could be talking about something, and next thing you know, you go on the internet and you see it. They're using the algorithm and everything that you're doing. So it's no way to avoid it unless you do it.
But we can also, Kobe, I know there are ad preferences that you can go in, but it's really a job to go in and change your ad preferences to make them as private as compact as you can. And I know some of us would use what do you call it, VPN?
VPN would help, but there are free ones, but nothing is free. You're still giving your information out.
Yeah. But you get less ads that way. But also updating your ad preferences might be helpful. Yes, I have someone else.
Yes, 2 points. For those who have the smartphone, you can go to your control panel and ask not to be tracked. Some of our phones have the control panel, and you can go in there and say, don't track. So that's one area. The other one is if you get an ad or ask to go look at a home, you can either have a lockbox that's attached to the home, and they give you a code to go look into. But if it doesn't have that, then you may have to go to another layer and contact somebody to verify that the home is for sale. So these are some of the things that you can keep in mind.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, after Kobe, go ahead, Kobe, then I'll say something.
With cookies, just some of the sites, not some of them, but let's say you're gonna buy a plane ticket or rent a car. If you search it a lot of times in the same week, the price is always going to change. So, in my opinion, to avoid that, search it first, and then when you're going to buy it, delete your cookies, all right? Because if not, like I had it happen to me, I was searching for a ticket, it was $700, but one day later it was $900. And when my mother checked, it was $700 for her. So, those cookies also keep your data, they also target you, but they also
Yeah.
So be careful with it, all right? Just compare the prices when you're doing it.
Does it help you like incognito? Sorry? Incognito on your web browser. Does that help you?
No. That's only for, let's say, whoever's in your house will not see your history. Let's say Google Chrome you're using, right? They know your history, even though it's in incognito mode. So don't think it's like safe. It protects from your, let's say, family members. That's it.
All right. Okay. I think we're going to wrap up, right?
I would just like to make a quick comment, to support what Kobe just said. The IT guys know one thing, and the truth of the matter is that there's not much you could do to save yourself. Once you're online, everything is recorded, it's registered, and it's stored. President Trump had this big thing about TikTok where he's like, the Chinese have our information and we're gonna get TikTok back, and now they're no longer gonna have it. They already have everything about us, period.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah. So the only advice that we would have for you guys is just try your best to don't go to the nefarious sites, the unknown sites. Okay, stick to the Facebook, the YouTubes, the Googles, the safe site, as you know. Don't go to those weird sites or the dark web, so that your information is not going to be stolen as quickly. But again, there's no hope. Your information and everything about you is online.
It's there forever.
You just have to stay away from the guys who are doing the more crazy things. All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. I just want to end on one, just mention one thing about an old scam is new again, and that scam is check washing scams. Okay, that is on the rise. It was a thing of the past. Check washing scams. You write a check to Con Ed for $100 and it clears your account. Well, good, my Con Ed bill is paid, but then when you look at that check, because you get a copy, it says it's paid to John Silver. And exactly, and they wash the name of the payee, and they also change the amount. Your signature is there, it's your check number, but the payee's name is changed and the amount has changed. It's becoming more common. And what's happening is if you don't use online and you're checking your balances or transactions daily, you wait for your statement to come in. By the time the statement comes in, that check is already paid, okay? And they chemical wash your check. And how they get your check, if you go to the mailbox, they go into the mailbox and they take it and fish it out of the mailbox like they're going fishing. All right, and the other thing is that, let's see, they go to your door, or, you know, if you have a mailbox outside and you put your mail there for the postman to pick up. I don't know if that happens a lot. Yeah, well, in Florida, I know it happens a lot, you know, so they have their mailbox, they don't go through post office, they just put their mail there. But, yeah, we know that, we trust the mailbox, so they're going, you put it in the mailbox, and so it's on the rise. And if you catch it early, we can return it. But when we don't catch it early, it's called a late return. And by the time that check gets to the bank where it was deposited, the money's gone. And then that's where the banks go between each other to say who's going to pay the customer. So it's very important that you check your transactions, your banking transactions. If it's not online and you have a paper statement, you can always call up, say, did this check clear, okay? But that's very important. It's happening too often now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, Hyson, Christian Fellowship got caught up in it. We paid a utility bill for $48, and by the time we found out the fraud, check was paid for $4,800. So this is very much on the rise. And the fact that most people, the bank have convinced people that everybody should go paperless. And because your statements are sent electronically, nobody look at their statement. And so by the time you find out that this happens, it's months. And as Hyacinth highlighted, time is of the essence. If you find it quickly, the bank is able to possibly go between banks, the paying bank and the receiving bank, to get the money back somehow. But if some time have passed on it, chances are you will not get the money back. So please, whether you're paperless or not, check your statements every month the bank sends it. Especially young children, well, not young children, but the youth. Everything is on their phones. They don't check their statements. So tell your children, check their statements. Well, no, the statements that the banks send you, are you paperless?
Electronic.
Oh, you're paperless also. Yeah. Well, everybody could check it, just some people don't.
Okay.
Oh, well, you see, you do that. Most people don't.
That's good. Yeah, I know. But one thing I wanted to also mention, if you can set something up, your bills to pay it automatically, do it. That way you're not writing checks, okay? Like your Con Ed bill, have them debit your account, you know, as opposed to writing a check.
You talk about auto pay, right?
Auto pay, yeah. Okay, so what you can put on auto pay, your regular monthly bill, to do that, okay? Purses, all right? Yes.
Another way that you can get around that is to put alerts on your account. So
Thank you.
if there's money spent, you see it right away.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very good.
That's a good way.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, set up alerts. If you want to know when debits come to your account that's more than $200, you can set alerts up. We'll either send you an email or send you a text to say this, debit came in for $205, this debit came in, or it could be a check. So any withdrawals on your account for a certain dollar amount, you can set that up and get an alert, okay? If no one, yes?
Yeah, I have a question. As senior citizens, there is something that people go around with some device that they can read your credit card in your wallet. Is there a way that you can override that, or
I don't know the answer to that. Kobe? Well, there's special wallets. There's, yeah.
They could stay like maybe a few feet from you and read your information off of your card in your pocket, in your wallet.
But there's special wallets that you can purchase. Because I do that, yeah. Or even bags that have it as well.
Kobe, are you answering his question?
There's special wallets, and what do they call RFID wallets or bags that. Yeah, no, but there are special bags and wallets that will protect your information. Yeah. Any other questions? I think we can wrap it up. What do you think? Unless, okay. I hope I was able to, give you enough information and ways to defend, okay? If you have any question, listen, in your packets, I have information that more detailed. So if you want more information on the relationship scam, romance scam, or any of the other scams, just the handouts in your packet that goes into more detail, okay? Thank you for having me. I like the, very engaging and a lot of questions. So this is what I wanted to happen, and I'm glad it did. Thank you. Everyone have a good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How did I do? Marvelous. All right, thank you. All right.
Thank you, Hyacinth. She's very knowledgeable about banking, most things. So to tell you, this is that to prevent the reader from, Elder James, you're in luck. Elder James, Nakisha has something to protect your credit cards. She's gonna buy you one for your birthday. Oh, and Sister Alcock said that you could buy wallets with those too. So Elder James, somebody buy him a wallet. So Flushing Bank is one of the best small banks you can go to for excellent customer service. I can tell you that for sure. It's a New York bank. So they've been here a long time. They just don't have a lot of branches. Yeah. Oh, because you're in Georgia? Well, who sent you there? You could still come back. So let me just tell you how great they are in terms of defense of your money. I deposited a very large check for someone, and they called that person to ask them if they actually authorized me to deposit that check. They're really, really good. To deposit, nothing gets past them. So if you're looking for a safe bank that's gonna look after your money, because what's the point of a bank? A bank really is a place that protects your money and gives you some interest for the privilege of using your money. So if you have a bank that's not protecting your money, you don't need to be there. Well, we don't do everything y'all do. But Flushing is a bank you can trust. They also, and just for a plug for you guys, as local banks go, there are savings banks, so they usually have better rates on CDs and, money markets and savings accounts. So I always refer people to the small banks because they have low fees also. You don't want a bank that charge a lot of fees on your money. So this is your payment, Hyacinth, for coming here. I'm going to try to get you some business. But I've been banking with them for a long time. Yeah. Hyacinth, I only know the branch on Avenue J, and there's another one somewhere. Come. Well, y'all don't come to Midwood. If you're driving, come to Midwood, Avenue J and East 14th Street.
We have about 29 branches in our marketplace. A lot of them are in Flushing, Queens. And we have 6 branches in Brooklyn. Avenue J, in Midwood, we have downtown Brooklyn, Montague Street. We have out in Williamsburg. We also have in Bay Ridge, Bensonhurst. We also have Borough Park. And we have 2 branches in Manhattan. So if you work in Manhattan, we're available. We have online banking. So most of our accounts we open through online. So you don't really need to be in a branch, but we have branches out along Suffolk County and Nassau. So about 29 branches. We're small. Our motto is we're small enough to know you, but large enough to help you, and help you in ways that maybe a bigger bank won't, because the bigger bank, they have the numbers. But if you come in and you're asking us, do you have this product or can you do this for us? We will definitely work to try and see if we can help you, okay? So we don't say we don't do it. Even sometimes we can do rates that maybe are not advertised. We can work with you on that. Okay, so we're a community bank, and we've been around since 1929. Okay, we survived the great, you got it. No, bank books don't exist anymore.
I don't know, TV bank give them.
But I tell you what, banks, the ones who still give them, they're getting out of it because it's just your record book. It's no longer, if you don't bring your bank book in, you can't get your money. Bank books are just for your peace of mind. It's for your record. You can go to any bank where you have a bank book and still get money out of your account without the bank book. And a lot of banks are stopping it because they don't want to pay the printing cost anymore. Okay? Yeah, I know.
Yes. Hold on a second. The senior director has some directives. So, senior director, you're on.
So, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. I can see and hear that it was a really great experience for you, and I hope that you will share the knowledge that you got here with your friends and family. So I have a bouquet of flowers that I want to give to a visitor. So if you're visiting with us, can you please raise your hand? If you're visiting with us. Okay. Thank you, Elder Pope. Sit down, Linville. So who is the oldest? I see 2 hands. Who's the oldest visitor that we have visiting with us? So yes, you get the bouquet. I also want to thank Sister Garrett, so let's give her a hand. When I mentioned this to her, she followed through from then until now, so thank you so much, Sister Garrett. I appreciate you.
That's because I love my people. We have some totes, the lightweight one. So if you want one, Roxanne. Yeah, so Roxanne the beautiful Roxanne will bring it for you. So Hyacinth and Kobe, thanks for spending time with us. And thanks for bringing us this valuable information that we need on our Seniors Day. And I thank you guys for, great customer service and having a heart for the community to bring this. We're very grateful for that. And hopefully you'll come back a second time and a third time. Bring Derek with you. And so we thank you for giving us the time this evening to actually absorb this very important information we can deploy in protection of our seniors. Unfortunately, frauds happen in Christian Fellowship also. So please take this seriously. If you have any questions, you can call me, or whether I'm here or you only have 2 left? Do you want one? Oh, because I could get from them at the branch. Yeah, so I don't need to have one. And also, too, if you go online, you'll find their address. If you want to do business with them, let me know. I will let them know. And Hyacinth, you think maybe your bank would consider a relationship with Christian Fellowship, and there could be, some benefits if Christian Fellowship people open accounts with you, maybe waive a fee or something. We'll talk about this, yeah. So thank you for coming, Sister. Our senior director have more fun next door. So if you're not tired, seniors, there's more fun. And it's with the young people, so that will energize you. Of course, I can't stay for that because I've been up since 4:30 and I have to leave in the morning at 6 o'clock. So you'll tell me how great it was. So thank you. Do we want to sing a song, or this is just a transition, not an end? What do you want to do, Director Gamble? Do you want Sister Alcock to sing a song? She sings. Yeah. So if you could get some of the men to maybe bring in water and some snacks in those bags there. That's for the men to volunteer. I'm going to do some stuff. Okay. So Hyacinth and Kobe actually brought snacks for everybody. So we have water and snacks, and the director says you can partake, or we can take it next door and you'll get it. Sister Alcock said take it next door and you can partake. In the meantime, we are going to sing. Sister Alcock, what you singing? We're singing one verse of number 50. One verse of number 56. What song is that? Yes, Sister Alcock wants the day to end. And then someone will pray, and we will go next door for the other phase of the fun. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you. And thanks again, Flushing. Number 5-6. Sister Alcock, you're going to start?